All right. Vikings coming off an impressive win in Dallas. Sunday night football. Great game by J.J. McCarthy. A great game by Kevin O'Connell, and another great game by the defense. We got our dog right here. Of course, right when I started recording. Maybe he'll come over. No, he's going to sit down. So if you hear that in the background, people try to ignore it. It's hard to, I get it, but try to at least. We made a bunch of predictions for these games this weekend. We had a wild game on Saturday, and then today was just loaded. We don't cover Gophers basketball as much, but Gophers basketball got their win today. I think that was against Texas Southern. So, I mean, you kind of expect it. They won by like 35. But either way, today, Wolves, Wild, and obviously the Vikings all coming away with victories. A very successful Minnesota sports weekend. I think the one negative I think you could find is that, well, the Bears won today, which means the Vikings are officially out of playoff contention. So maybe the win wasn't really what people would like. You want JJ to play well, develop like he did, but I think a loss would have been better for a lot of people's terms. Get better draft capital. Either way, I could care less, though, because as much as the draft capital is enticing, we're going to probably lose one or two more games this year, and you'll have a decent pick either way. But I don't know. I just want to see JJ play well and win games if he can. But that's all up for people to decide and argue about, because I think everyone would have a different opinion on it. But Trevor, you got to watch most of the games today. Kind of flip through all of them. They kind of happened at the same time tonight. So
yeah, so it is. So what I didn't watch any of the Wolves. Not that I didn't want to. It's just not really the priority tonight. So obviously, I started with the Wolves game, started the day with Red Zone, which you can't ever go wrong with that.
For sure.
But then when Wild Game started, I watched that. It's pretty fun. I mean, even before Hughes got his goal, some of the plays he had set ups or just playmaking. So it's just fun watching that. And then even if you exclude Hughes, the focus on Hughes is just overall a good game. I know Gustafson it kind of didn't matter. It was like the final 10 seconds actually in the game where, it's like a partial breakaway where whatever player had the puck, it's a 50-50 puck. Gustafson plays the puck, but then he's like 10 feet away from the net, makes another save. Yeah. Puck goes behind the net, and then they literally score a goal.
Big circus kind of thing.
With 0.9 seconds. But no, yeah, it was fun watching a pretty good complete Wild game win. And
I mean, Gus gets overshadowed with how great the offense was, but yeah.
Right, and then you turn it into a pretty good Vikings win. I mean, the start did not go well because you start with the tipped interception.
I mean, that's nothing you can really control. JJ did the smart thing and didn't try catching it. He tried batting it down. He ended up batting it right to, was that Quinnen Williams who picked it off, or
I don't know if that's Quinnen. One of the D linemen.
Either way, but JJ did the right thing. Didn't turn out the right way. It sucks. But.
Yeah, and then you follow that up. So the immediate pick followed up. You get a 3-and-out. You're on a higher. Okay, you hold them to a field goal. Psych! Isaiah Rodgers right off the edge. They pick up the conversion, eventually score. But
on the fake kick.
Right, the fake field goal attempt. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. It was actually a swift play there. He kind of the holder kind of just flipped it backwards, kind of no look, and Aubrey ran for Ivan Pace got caught. I was pretty upset with Ivan in the moment, and I kind of still am, because Ivan has to cover, because Aubrey could have passed it to, I think it was Jake Ferguson, kind of going into the end zone. Jake Ferguson had 15 yards on Ivan Pace either way. So I'm like, Ivan, if you're right in the middle, choose one to guard, because Ivan, he didn't step up. He kind of just let Aubrey come to him. I feel like Ivan could have stepped up and made the tackle there. In the end, it didn't matter, but people are going to say that he needed to cover Ferguson, but he was nowhere near him either way. He wasn't going to be able to make a play. Aubrey could have thrown the ball, but he just wanted to pick up the first, which was
play it safe.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into more in depth with a bunch of the games, like I said at the top of the show here, we made a bunch of predictions this weekend. Okay. I'm actually going to take a picture so I can read it just from my phone here. Yeah, so obviously 4 games we made a prediction on today, or this weekend, I guess. The Wild game against Ottawa on Saturday, and then today the Vikings, Wild, and Wolves. We'll start with that Senators game. The Wild ended up winning that one 3-2. Eriksson X scores with, I think, 18 seconds left to ice that game right there. Another good game. Wallstead played great the entire game. You could tell that, I mean, kind of the lack of having Rossi. I mean, Rossi was hurt, obviously, but Bouillon and Ogren, you could kind of feel it a little bit there. But either way, they pulled out a win against a winning record team, a team who had been faltering as of late. But either way, it's a win you should have had, and they got it. So good for the Wild. As for our predictions, we all said the Wild would lose that game. And by all, I mean Trevor, Jack, Holmscheid, who will be on this week too again. But all of us predicted the loss. We kind of all had the same idea. They're going to be kind of looking forward to the Quinn Hughes debut on Sunday and kind of just overlook the game. The Wild did not. They played great. It was a fun game to watch against Ottawa. Either way, so I said they'd lose 3-2. Well, the scores doesn't matter because we all said they'd lose. Either way, our prediction, I had Vladimir Tarasenko scoring a goal.
Wait, did
So,
he didn't? No.
he may have had an assist. I don't remember, but no, he didn't score a goal. Jack said Gus would have 25 saves. So this is controversial, all right, because Jack reported that Gus was going to be starting that game, and I said Wallstead was going to be starting, and Wallstead did. Okay. We give him the point because he said 25 saves. Wallstead ended up having 33, I think. I don't know. So I want your word on it, Trevor, because he said 32 or 25 plus saves. He said Gus though.
I would allow it if he wasn't a Yankees fan. But since he's a Yankees fan,
Jack, I hope you watch this. I hope you watch this. Yeah, Jack, that's gonna be a wrong. That prediction is wrong.
No, I think we can mark it right. I mean,
okay, well, you're faking me out. All right. Fine.
No,
all right, I'll give him the point there.
Yeah,
Jack.
I feel like the prediction would have been the same. So
yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what I was gonna say. But I kind of liked your Yankees remark there, so I kind of had to go along with it. Okay, fine, Jack. All right, you lucky dog. You get a point there for your 25 plus saves for a goalie. We're not going to specify which one. Trevor, you said Damon Hunt would get a point. He did not.
He almost had a goal tonight, and he blew that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. He came close on that one up. Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to this Wolves and Kings game tonight. Anthony Edwards out again. Julius Randle's stepping up. He definitely is stepping up with Ant being out for these last 2 games. Randall's had 2 good games in a row. Rudy off night. McDaniel's off night. Dante had a good night. Bones Highland, though. Bones Highland is driving the lane. Bones Highland is doing everything that you need out of a point guard right now. I mean, there's been a lot of point guard trade talks. Definitely here we've had a few of them, but right now Bones Highland is proving his worth. He had 18 points tonight. He played 35 minutes. He's starting because Ant is out right now. Naz Reid also had a phenomenal night, 4 threes, most of them in clutch time at the end. The Wolves really pulled away with a few. I did watch the 4th quarter. I was kind of with Trevor here. Like I said, all these games started like 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. So I'm like, it was kind of hard flipping between all of them. But Naz, clutch time, the Wolves, it was a 5-point game with 6 minutes left. And from that point on, obviously the Wolves won 117-103. So they pulled away at the end, mostly on Naz and Bones Highland plays right there. So I also saw another stat, which I'd like to bring to the table here if I have it saved. Yeah, Jalen Clark, obviously our defensive star. He's fast. He can really do a ton of things for the Wolves. When Jalen Clark plays at least 15 minutes in a game, the Timberwolves are 12-0 this season. 15 minutes or more, they're 12-0. And when Clark plays 10 or less minutes, the Timberwolves are 0-3. Okay. Clark ended up playing 16 minutes tonight. We won 13-0 now. Oh,
Part
it's
of the
tonight's game.
script.
So, I mean, hey, that is something you want to follow. I get statistics are statistics, analytics are analytics, but Jalen Clark, he's going to give you a lot on the defensive end, especially in a game against like OKC, against these teams that are heavy guards. And oh, by the way, OKC lost to San Antonio on Saturday, so perfect. Good job, Spurs. But these games with all these like great weapons at guard and point guard, at shooting guard, ton of fast guys. You need Jalen Clark to have minutes if you want to win these games. And I think he should have had more minutes in the playoffs, in the Western Conference Finals. Either way, we can get into the weeds more with that. But Jalen Clark, difference maker. Just like tonight, he only had 2 points on 16 minutes, but he's a defensive just star. Either way. Yeah, so either way, Wolves win 117-103. As for our predictions, I said so we all said the Wolves would win. So good job, all of us. All right. I said Jaden McDaniels would have 3 or more threes. He ended up having 1 for 7 night, and he's been a 40% 3-point shooter. So bad beat for me for sure. Jack said Gobert would have 2 straight 20-plus points nights, and 2 straight. I mean, he had the 20-plus against Golden State. He thought he'd have it here. Wrong. Trevor, you said Dante DiVincenzo 4+ threes. Bad beat there. Dante had 3 of them. Very bad beat for Trevor. Yeah, that's a bad beat right there. But either way, we all get the win on the record. So good for us. Good. I mean, good. The record. I need to improve my record for sure. Trevor's sitting well going into the weekend, but yeah. All right. Vikings Cowboys predictions. We'll talk about the Vikings game more later, but Vikings win. I'm forgetting the score now. 34-26, right?
Yep.
Okay. We all said the Vikings would lose. Okay. I think I was so on the fence about it, and I think really the only reason why personally I chose them to lose is because you haven't seen them play 2 good games in a row this year. Like after the Lions game, they followed it up with 4 clunkers against the Ravens, Bears. The first game of the year, the Bears comeback win in a tough environment, and then you just absolutely crap the bed against Atlanta. That was my reasoning. I needed to see 2 good weeks, and now they showed 2 great weeks. So now I can pick freely. Before I just you couldn't. I couldn't.
It was
pick. Yeah.
there's no consistency, and
Yeah.
it was more bad than there was good. So it was kind of hard to think positively.
Yeah, I mean, you can't like based on this year, you couldn't expect them to have 2 good games in a row. You just couldn't pick them to win, you know. Either way, all of us picked them to lose, and they ended up winning. As for the player predictions, I said the defense would get 4+ sacks and an interception. Another bad beat. They had 3 sacks, I think, and I think probably 4 opportunities, especially at the end on the Cowboys' last drive. Harry Hitman, very close to a pick. They had a few batted balls. Harry Hitman came rushing on the edge, tipped one. A lot of opportunities. Another bad beat for me, though. All right. Jack, another. This is probably the worst bad beat of the night. Jack said he's sticking with his JJ to JJ touchdown prediction. Justin Jefferson caught a touchdown pass, but then it was a legal formation. So
yeah, and I think it was all because Oliver was lined up on the line, right? He just needed to take a step back.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what it was. So, and you could see Justin's face when he realized he was about to gritty, and then the fans were like, penalty, and then he's like, no.
Well, yeah,
no.
so there's that play, but then there's also a play where McCarthy threw a missile at him. It went right through McCarthy's hands. You can argue McCarthy could put a little more touch.
The best wide receiver in the game.
But I was going to say 90% of the blame's Jefferson. Just catch it.
I'd say 99% of the. I think Justin would say that same thing too. Yeah.
The only very small critical error, if you want to call it that, would be McCarthy. You don't need to throw it as hard as you can. You could. Yep. Not that you're going to lob it, right? But just touch.
It was a good throw, though, and Justin's got to come down with it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
happened too many times this year. I mean, I almost that was just like a brain aneurysm when that happened. I'm like, again? We can't catch a break with our receivers this year. Trevor said Dak Prescott would throw for 300+ yards and 3 touchdowns. A Vikings hater.
That's what I do.
Vikings defense shut down Dak for the most part.
That's true.
Either way, so none of us got our player prediction or a game
I actually
prediction.
forgot to look at that, not to cut you off. What did Dak finish at? Do you know? Do you have the box score?
Very quick.
I'm just curious because, like, I know he didn't pass for a lot, but it also feels like I feel like it's a respectable number. I feel like
it was good.
230.
You almost it was 290 with that last drive.
That's
it was
true.
290 yards.
Okay.
23 for 38, so the completion percentage was a bit low for him, but 0 touchdowns. So without that last drive, I think he was sitting at 230. So it was still a good game for Dak, but
yeah, I mean, it's just Dallas only lost by 8, right? I mean, they get the garbage time field goal, but if Aubrey makes those 2 kicks, I mean, the whole game flowing. Who knows how that game goes? So,
yep. Well, that's the thing too. So you have to think the Vikings defense really did dominate. The Cowboys had 1 touchdown drive. The first touchdown of the game with Javonte Williams, they got the ball on the 20-yard line because of the interception on the Vikings' first play. So it's like they didn't have to do much there. They had 1 legit drive in the second quarter. So, I mean, it sucks, but the defense played great. So it's not good for us because none of us got any of our predictions game-wise or player-wise for the Vikings game. So embarrassing on Twin City Sports Talk.
We will be better.
We mark my word. All of us will prepare more and be better in these times.
We will watch more film, quit our jobs.
Yeah. And then the last game, I think probably the biggest one based on the trade and how the Wild are looking right now. The Wild welcoming the Boston Bruins, and a team that was 19-13. Boston, good offense all year, good in a lot of key categories. The Wild just absolutely shut them down. I mean, they were playing their butts off. Maybe it's the Quinn Hughes effect. Everyone's trying to play their butts off, prove to Quinn that he is playing on a winning hockey team, like he said. Either way, the Wild end up winning 6-2. They were up 5-0 at one point, right? It was 5-0, or was it 4-0 before the Bruins got a goal?
Yeah, 5-0. Yeah,
because Hughes. Right. So yeah, Quinn Hughes also scored the 4th goal. Kirill has 2 goals tonight. Boldy has 1. Who are the others? Spurgeon. Spurgeon got the 1st goal, and then Hartman. Yep, from Faber on that breakaway. Quinn Hughes with the 4th goal, Matt Boldy, and then Kirill with the with his 20th of the season. So that's cool. But he had the 6th goal. So great game tonight. I mean, Gus was also great. Like Trevor said earlier, he had that kind of just freak goal right at the end there, giving up. That was weird, but yeah, super fun game. I mean, the atmosphere was electric. Seeing the pregame, seeing the announcement for Quinn, and when he scored that goal, they did like the scoring for Minnesota things right away. Yeah, it was cool.
It's like his first goal in a Wild sweater.
I loved it. I mean, it was really cool. But that deserves this.
It didn't work, Bruce. Bruce, it didn't work.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right.
We will
do your own wild horn.
All
right. Yeah, as for our predictions, I gotta look back on my phone. All right. I said the Wild, actually, so yeah, we all said the Wild would win. We all had no doubt coming into this game. None of us really predicted the blowout. Both me and Jack predicted the Wild would win 4-2. And then Trevor predicted the Wild would win 3-1. So all of us correct answers there. Did you hear that sounder? Wait, have you not been hearing any of the sounders this entire time?
The start. Here, try the whole the starting one when you started the pod for the Vikings, the Skull.
Oh, here, give me a second. Oh, the Skull Vikings. Let's win the game.
Yeah, because that one didn't work either. I just didn't have the guts to tell you.
You didn't hear it?
We'll correct it afterwards. We'll carry on. But yeah,
Either way. All right. My player prediction: the Wild would score 2 power play goals. That is correct. So, I mean, I get a point for that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Jack said Hughes would get a point. I honestly don't know why we allowed this because I feel like that. I know he's a defenseman, but
what was the prediction again?
Just Hughes would get a point, assist or goal. I feel like we should have maybe made it a parlay for him.
And we'll know what to go for next year. I think in my head, just because it's Vancouver and I like barely ever watched Quinn Hughes unless we were playing Vancouver. I guess I didn't realize I knew he was like top 5 defenseman. I didn't realize that he was scoring almost, if not 1.2, maybe even 3 a game. Yeah, we'll be more strict on that going forward.
Exactly. So yeah, Jack also gets the point right there. Trevor did a 2-leg parlay. He said Hughes would have no points and Kirill would score a goal. He got one of them. Kirill scored 2 goals. But Hughes did gain a point, so Trevor gets the wrong answer there. So all in total, now my record is 13-15. Actually, we all went 2-2 with our game predictions. No one got any scores right. I'm 13-15. Jack is sitting at 500 at 6-6, and Trevor is a nice 9-4. As for our points category, I'm at 3 points. Jack is at 2 points, and Trevor is at 1 point. I got the lead in the points. Trevor has the lead in the record category. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of big sports weekend. But if you don't mind, Trev, I'm just going to get right to my Vikings notes, kind of just throughout the whole game. Step in if you have a thing to say about it. We already talked about that unlucky deflection for the interception on the first drive. And then the defense, they do a good job. Basically, like throughout the whole first half, Dallas had a few good drives going, but ultimately when they get down into the red, they force them to kick a field goal. And Aubrey, like if you force them to kick field goals, sometimes players would miss. And maybe arguably the best kicker in the league in Brandon Aubrey missed 2 tonight, which was big. One thing on that first drive, Ryan Kelly got absolutely flattened. It had me flash back to the Micah Parker play. Yeah, he got flattened. 3rd and 1 for the Vikings. KOC, this was a big issue for me. I did not think the game would be very positive because this was the second drive now. Okay. KOC runs the ball right kind of up the gut on 3rd and 1. And I have no issues with running the ball. I've actually been begging for it all year, as should a lot of people. But my thing is, if you are on a 3rd and 1 on a very obvious running down, Dallas loaded the box. They only had 1 DB back. Everyone else was within 3 or 4 yards of the line of scrimmage within the whole pile right there. If you are in an obvious running down, please send more than 1 tight end on the field. Send CJ Ham in there, because on this play specifically, they just stuck in 11 personnel. They had the 5. Well, actually, they had the 5 offensive linemen. They had TJ Hawkinson in there, which if it's a running down, put Oliver in there instead of Hawk, because he's not as good of a blocker as Oliver is. But then you also just have Jefferson and Addison and Naylor not spread out wide, but spread out during the line, because you're asking for them to block. If you're going to run the ball, I want the personnel, have 3 tight, have Ben Sims in there with Oliver and Hawk, because what happened here is Jordan Addison is weak. He weighs 170 pounds. He gets blown through, and then it forces Aaron Jones to cut outside, and then he gets tackled for a 3-yard loss, and then we have to punt. It was a terrible play design, and I didn't like it at all, because if it is a serious running down, I think you actually you're not going to fool anyone, really. Like the Dallas was not fooled. They had everyone loaded the box.
But hey, at least it turned out to a punt inside the 3-yard line. Woohoo!
Yeah, perfect punt by Ryan Wright. Yes, that is the good part. And then Isaiah Rodgers with the TFL, that was a great play. And then B. Murph, it was a 3-and-out, I think. B. Murph, fantastic pass defense on, I think it was CeeDee Lamb right on that slant route. And then the next offense, great play design for Aaron Jones. That very weird kind of screen, bubble
It's
screen
like
for
a swing
Addison. And
pass.
yeah, exactly. And then it was the swing to Aaron Jones on the outside. And then another great play from JJ to Speedy. And then for the next offensive drive, it was a great drive, perfect throw.
And in that same drive after the Jones swing, they had a personal foul too.
Yeah,
Was that the horse? Oh yeah, it was the horse
it was the
collar
horse collar
tackle
on Aaron Jones. Yep.
after the which
That was
also
the 2-play drive. That was the
yeah
touchdown to Speedy. That was another
yeah
great play. Okay, I will say, I mean, Chris Collinsworth is annoying. We already know that. But I don't know if you remember this, Trev, but they started doing a comparison between like Josh Allen's mechanics and after
I
JJ
know
threw that touchdown. That is the worst example, too, because JJ is rolling out to his left where he needs to turn his body, obviously, to get his shoulders
the hips.
in line and flip his hips. They can't show that example because he's obviously going to be throwing on one foot. He's not just going to like, they're talking about how he needs to, yeah, like they're talking about how he needs to have both feet on the ground to get some power on his throw or get more accuracy with it, like
Yeah.
Josh Allen has learned to do. But you can't do that on that type of a play where he's run out to his left and he has to switch his body. He's not going to throw lefty on that play. Like, I
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
mad.
But then, just to continue the notes, the thing
Yeah.
that's eating at me that I'll mention. So yeah, Naylor had the touchdown, and then to tie it 7-7, Dallas then proceeds same or that drive right after they're driving the field, and then stupid Levi Drake Rodriguez. I'm not even blaming him. If anything, that should have been offsetting. They call that a face mask, which maybe you can argue because you got like the back of the helmet.
Yeah.
But it's like those guys are both equally like playing after the whistle.
Exactly.
Whatever they benefit from that, they get a rushing touchdown. It was the backup, which was interesting too because at that point, Williams got hurt. Javonte Williams got hurt in that first drive, and it appeared that he wasn't going to come back because I think it was like a shoulder injury, some sort of upper body injury.
Yeah.
Because that second touchdown for Dallas was with the backup running back, but then right before half, like when it was 4 seconds left, when we returned the kick with Price, just because or else you're going to kneel the ball before halftime. One of their two backup running backs, Lipke or whatever.
Lipke's their fullback, but
I guess technically is fullback. Yeah. But obviously he got the concussion, and then Javonte Williams did come back in the third. But I realized I kind of jumped a little bit ahead there. But I just want to touch how stupid the penalty on Levi Drake Rodriguez
was a weird game in that
was
sense.
when they're equally both like going at each other. So that was dumb.
Yep. All right. The next drive, great drive. I'm just going to get to the end of it. Yep. Perfect throw to Justin Jefferson, but it got called back, like we were saying earlier, for the touchdown there. But then JJ on third down runs. He steps up in the pocket, 3rd and 10. Steps up, tries trucking the dude for the touchdown. Doesn't get in. He's down on the yard line. Yeah, right there. But then just a perfect play call. Perfect fake. Just he had no one. He had everyone fooled. No one. Yeah. He was dancing on the way in, JJ, for that touchdown.
And before we got the ball up to that point, he did have that deep connection to Addison that got us on the 4-yard line.
Which people can critique that because you got to put it farther out if you can.
So that should have been a walking touchdown, but at least he converted it.
I don't care. My thing with it is he saw it. He's going through his progressions. So, that's my biggest thing with that. The next defensive drive, great drive, perfect spin from Grenard to get for the sack off of. Grenard did that a lot tonight. He had his tackle worrying about that spin move because he had 2 sacks tonight, or 1.5, I guess, with that spin move. But that was great. Another one where he forced them to punt. Offense, great drive, including everyone. Perfect toss, getting everyone to the left side, and then it's kind of that like JJ fakes to the right and then tosses that shovel to the left for Aaron Jones, and then he got a first down off that. This was the one where he had the dart down the middle to Hawkinson on that seam route going down the middle of the field, and then he missed Justin Jefferson, I think, on the next play on that crosser. And that was tough. And Justin That was all JJ's fault there. You
Because
got
that
to
would have
take
been a
those.
gain of 20 at least.
Yeah.
Because where he was, the reception would have been made for a 20-yard gain, and then who knows what more
Yep.
you get after the catch.
Exactly. That's what they were saying too on the broadcast. Like Justin can make a few guys miss. Either way, that drive you settle for a field goal. They move the ball well. A bunch of good throws from JJ there.
Yeah.
Defense, and they limited the I think to a field goal, but that's the one Aubrey missed to end the half, right? Because did we go up 17-14?
So I mean, the drive you're talking about, we went up 17-14 when we missed Jefferson.
Yep.
But then in my notes, I've got record kicks the ball out of bounds, so they start on the 40. Yep. They go no huddle, but it was like very conservative play calling. They did like a couple of runs, which was kind of weird because you have Dak and you have CD and you've got Pickens. Even they're tied in blanking on the name, but it was weird. They're just being super conservative. They did end with a field goal there, and then there was like the couple seconds left where we returned it, but you know that's halftime.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually take a ton of notes from the second half. I kind of just wanted to enjoy it, but
I can kind of go. So yeah, so then after half, I forgot they had a really good return, but it got or wait, no, I think I'm mixing up with a different one. Yeah, so it was a good return by what's that receiver's name? Turpin. They drive down the field, they get a field goal. So
another good defensive stop it was.
Yeah, kind of bend but don't break. We go 3 and out first possession after half, leads to a punt. Nothing really there. Dallison started. They had a deep ball for CeeDee Lamb that went for 30, followed by a 21-yard run by Javonte Williams. Because this is when Javonte kind of came back after the concussion for Lipke. They got a field goal out of it. All right.
They got a field goal out of it. There was
they did. Yeah. Okay. My score is right. 23-17 with that field goal. And then this is maybe where it got excited. Maybe this was my favorite drive.
Oh, I got the drives mixed up. This is the one where he hit Hawk down the middle.
Correct. Yeah, Hawkinson had the seam for 29 yards, and then he just missed 20. All right, I guess we did jump ahead a little bit because we talked about the Jefferson crosser. But also on that same drive, right after the missed opportunity with the like crosser with Jefferson, it's that jet sweep with Naylor. But Oliver, well, I don't know. I guess it could be 50-50 blame because you could maybe blame Naylor. He should probably cut that inside.
I blame that one on Naylor. You got to make a decision.
Yeah, but then Oliver for how good of a blocker he is as a tight end, he would like that to be a better block. So that leads up to the 4th down. Was it 4th and 3? I think it was 4th and 3. I forgot to write it. But it was that great back shoulder throw because he was looking at Naylor. He initially wasn't open, so then Naylor kind of bounced it and broke it off deep, and it was that perfect timing back shoulder.
That was what it was supposed to be.
Okay,
but it was
perfect ball, perfect timing. You convert that to keep the drive going, and then they go empty, which Liss was very creative because you had 4 guys on like the bottom or on the left side of the screen. For people like maybe Jefferson's all alone on top of the field for that quick slant, and that's when JJ hit him for pretty much a bullet. Jefferson.
We need to see more of this. Okay, simple slant. No one can guard it. If you can get the ball out quick, this type of play is just perfect. Sean McVay does it perfectly. Either way, keep going. It was perfect.
So Jefferson gets it. That leads to 1st and goal, which eventually led to the fullback dive for the Haminator CJ Ham. And that or before Ham's fullback dive for the touchdown. That's the one we were talking about where we mentioned a couple minutes ago where Jefferson was breaking out kind of to that back left corner of the end zone. And it goes kind of right through Jefferson's hands. But anyways, with Ham's touchdown, that puts it at 24-23. Next drive for Dallas, they start with 2 good runs with Williams. They eventually stall out with a combined sack for Gernard and Van Ginkel, which ended up being a missed field goal, the second one.
That 59-yarder. Yep.
Yeah, where he pushed it to the right.
So that wasn't even close. Yeah.
after the half sack each for Grenard and Van Ginkel.
Yep.
So then we got on the short field on our own 49, pretty much at the half.
Where you need to take
pretty much
advantage of it.
Yep. We drive right down the field. Naylor gets his second touchdown. I
Mhm.
realized, unless you remember, I kind of forgot to write like what exactly happened in that
It was
possession.
it was a good concept. They stacked Jefferson and Naylor. Jefferson went all the way up into the back of the end zone. Naylor just went on a simple out route. Both of the guys had a miscommunication on, because it's Justin Jefferson. You can't leave him open. So Naylor just went right open. Perfect throw. Easy touchdown.
Oh yeah,
Great
that's
play
right.
call too. Great play call.
Right. So yep. So
Yep.
that was Naylor's second touchdown. That puts lead at 21-23. Dallas gets the ball back. That's the one I was thinking of. So yeah, that was a big return for Turpin, but it came back with a holding call, which I know some people might be iffy on if that really should have been called for a hold, but it was at the end of the day.
Yep.
And then in that same drive after the special teams hold, they had another holding call to make it a 1st and 20. That eventually was the difference. That 10-yard penalty to push it back 20 yards was the difference, because eventually it was at 4th and 7, I think it was. And they picked up like the 6.5, but they were still at half-yard short.
And that kind of like right there, you're kind of like, okay, you kind of got it wrapped up a little bit now.
Once when you secure the turnover end downstairs. So then, we kind of milked the clock there. We pick up a 4th and 1 run with Aaron Jones. It's kind of that read option for JJ, where it froze Clowney just enough where Jones could get that and not get stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
Collinsworth covered that one well. You have to. JJ can run. He is mobile. Clowney had to take that extra step to make sure JJ
he had to secure the edge. Yep. And then basically, so after that 4th and 1 conversion, we ran the clock down to 108. Reichard kicks it. We're up 34-23, and then this is garbage time, so minute 8 left. We kick it for a touchback. Obviously, don't give Turpin a chance. Eventually, they drive down the field after we're playing pretty soft. They get a field goal, and then to make it 34-26, obviously they go for onside kick. And that actually was a pretty
kick was really good.
Pretty good.
Really good.
It was not handled clean, but luckily Oliver just basically ate it up and just
sat on it.
Yep. And then the Vikings win to lead them not to the playoffs. Woo woo. No, but the win is good for confidence. For McCarthy.
It's tough because I would love to play spoiler to the Packers, to the Lions this year if we can. But then again, like, there's some key guys in this draft that I have my eyes on already that would boost your team 100%. Like, I mean, we covered it last week, but Caleb Downs being mocked to the Vikings at 11. If Caleb Downs is really going to drop to, maybe drop to 8 or 9, maybe. So if you could get to like 8 or 9 in the draft and get like a Caleb Downs type or a Jeremiah Love, we'll talk about it more and more as the season wraps up. But I mean, it's questionable, but either way, this video is going to be posted Monday morning. I don't think we're going to have an episode up tomorrow. This will be the episode for tomorrow, people. But we'll be back Tuesday with.
I was going to say right before we wrap it up too, do we want to go over the key injuries around the league?
Basically, we'll mention it. I mean, it sucks. I mean, some Vikings fans will just make fun of Packers fans, but Micah Parsons, ACL, he's going to be done for the year now, which that sucks for them. It does.
Assuming that ends up being the case, which is what is.
Sorry. One other thing. Phillip Rivers, great game today for playing for 5 years. Like, he almost went into Seattle and beat Seattle almost. And then Devontae Adams, what was his injury?
Well, so the 3 key ones. So Mahomes torn ACL, he's out, which people hate the Chiefs. It's the same thing with Parsons, As a Vikings fan, it'll make it easier game planning and going up against them, but obviously in any sport, you don't want to see any player, let alone a
I
rival.
want to see the best
Or,
competition in the playoffs against the
yeah.
best
Do
competition.
you want to win a championship and all that? You want to beat the best teams at their best or close to their best, as healthy
Yeah.
as you can be. But yeah, Mahomes going down is just terrible because that's the top 4 quarterback in the league, whether you like him or not. The whole Parsons thing, and then Devontae. It sounds like he just re-injured his prior hamstring
Okay, so he
history, but
probably
he
will be
should be
out.
okay.
Yeah.
They play Thursday though, I think. So I think
Yes.
he's out for Thursday. That'd be
For
pretty
sure.
crazy for him to turn
Yeah.
around for that. But for at least long term, for like playoffs, thinking
Yep.
like I would think Devontae would be back unless he messed up his hamstring pretty bad.
Yep. For sure.
But,
Yeah. The definitely some big injuries in the NFL today. So that always sucks to see, but yeah, either way, like I said, we'll be back Tuesday. There's some more Twins content, some guys being linked to the Twins. I know the Wild play Tuesday, so another Wild game day. We'll talk more about the Wild and what Quinn Hughes is going to mean to this team now, and also probably about if the Wild are going all in, they're probably going to want to trade for a center before the trade deadline. So we'll go through a little bit of that in the future here, but we'll be back Tuesday. Thanks for watching this episode. Subscribe to the Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Leave some comments down below. And actually, on Tuesday, we'll get to another segment called Listener GM. We got one of the fans, listeners that sent a message via Instagram. Listener GM is basically a segment where any of you guys can send in a question or an opinion that you guys want, like an opinion or like it answered from us, want an opinion on something. If we think JJ McCarthy's the guy, which we do, just answer that one. So don't ask it. Either way, we'll cover that Tuesday, but got a lot of good content coming out, a lot of good stuff. All the leagues are kind of mixed right now. So a lot of good stuff. But for tonight, we will see you on Tuesday.